This week's movie is Halloweed, which is available on Netflix, and it's a movie that I wrote. My name's on it, and I'm very proud.
Your name is on it, and prominently. Like at the end of the credits, it just says, written by Dale Zawada.
He did this.
Here's the last name we want to stick in your head before you watch this movie. Dale Zawada. Go.
Because Netflix does this thing that I love, where as soon as the credits hit, it minimizes it into the upper left-hand corner. And I was like, thank you, Netflix. Just keep shrinking it.
Now, does it minimize it because there are credits, or does it minimize it when it's like flash animations?
I think they just shrink it because they're like, watch this. Watch our original Longmire, Quagmire, something. One of our Westerns.
One of the Myers.
Westerns now. Yeah, before we're going to talk about the movie, this is the first time I've watched this movie, and it came out, it was available on DVD, on demand, Netflix, all that stuff, last September. They said, Dale, it's available to watch. I said, great.
Thank you.
Watch it. Watch it. Because I'm not. And the reason I just don't have a lot of good memories attached to this. So we're going to go over the process. The stinky world of screenwriting, because this isn't just like, oh, they made a bad movie. Every time I sell a screenplay, I just expect it's going to be bad. They're going to change some things, and now it's bad. That's just, every screenwriter has that thought. And if you're not cool with that, you need to change. Industries.
You're in the wrong line of work.
Yeah. So we'll start with pre-production, the origins, Halloweed origins. That's what I need to make.
I had a question about this. So I also watched this movie. I watched it with a friend, a listener of ours, who's also a very close personal friend. He wanted to come over, have a little watch party, because he was looking forward to this episode. And he had some questions for me that I didn't really know how to answer because I didn't know. I know sometimes you write a movie, you write a screenplay, just, I have an idea, I'm going to write this screenplay, and then someone says, I like that, I want to make it. And then other times, it's sort of like, we want a movie like this, can you write it? Right? And then and then there's probably even a third thing that's like a mixture of the two. So where did that fall? Where does Halloweed fall in that spectrum?
A little bit of both, but mostly an assignment.
Okay.
Because I think I met the one producer. I was doing stand-up regularly, and after a show, he's like, "Oh, I'm a producer," and I'm like, "Yeah, sure you are. You're really funny. You have jokes about movies. You have a big love story on your resume. Blah blah. I want to make this movie," and I said, "Yeah, let's do that. Never say no to work. Let's do it." And so I start working with this guy, and on his project, and he says, "All I have are two things: the title." Which was Die Trying. It wasn't Halloweed. It was Die Trying. And I said, we're going to need to work on that. That's a stinker. If I only knew. And he said, I have the idea. The idea is it's the son of a serial killer that nobody likes.
Okay.
I said, there's not a lot of meat on those bones, which I actually prefer because now I get to do stuff.
Yeah, you're not just rehashing shit.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, some serial killer, nobody likes him. I can take this a million different ways. And because I could do that, I said, what haven't I done yet? One of them, and I really wish we got to see it, was a murder mystery. I said, I love murder mysteries. I love those movies, Club Dread, shit like that. I love those. Let's do that. So I wrote that. And I wrote this script. He said, and then like later and during the process, he said, add some weed stuff in there. Might market it to stoners. And I said, yeah, I could do that. So I write it and I'm really enjoying it. The script is pretty good. I get to do all this stuff that I want to do. I was like, okay, nature versus nurture, identity, all this stuff. Because a lot of the framework that's actually in the finished film is kind of there in this weird mutated version, which makes it even more frustrating. So I write the script called Die Trying. And I like it. He likes it. Everybody likes it. And they want to do a Chicago production. We're gonna film it in Chicago. We're gonna do everything local. I said, that's cool. I can definitely visit the set that way. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to find more producers. You know, we need to team up, money, stuff like that, more money, more connections, locations. That's how producing works. I said, cool. But in the meantime, we're gonna get some actors and we're gonna do a table read so we can tweak the script and I can help get more financing for it. And I said, let's do a table read. I love table reads.
Do you really, or is that like a sarcasm thing?
No, I fucking love table reads because it's when you write something, whether it's a screenplay or a novel, when you're done, you give it to a few trusted people. You say, let me know your honest thoughts. This is just like the shotgun blast version of that. Boom, a room full of 20 people. I know where I stand on a lot of things. I know what jokes don't work. I know this is good, this is bad, need blah, blah, blah. So it's just like, it's like pulling off a Band-Aid and finding out where I'm at with the script.
It's like it would be, man, I wish there was a musical equivalent of that. That sounds like a great idea. Like, I've written this song, people that I trust that know what they're talking about, just sit them all down in a room, like, listen to this, and then
private concert. Yeah, can't really think of a music version of that.
No, so you do like them. That makes sense.
I do like them. They're very valuable. Right, they're extremely valuable and sometimes hurtful. You're like, oh, that joke that I loved went over terribly. Got to cut it.
But that's better to know that now, right? It's better to know that during the table read than when it's on Netflix.
Yes, definitely.
So that seems like a handy thing to do.
We do a table read, and I'm nervous. I'm always nervous at these because what if they're all bad? I know some things are going to be bad, but what if it's all bad? We do a table read, and it was literally the best table read I've ever been at.
Wow.
It wasn't a home run. Every joke didn't land, but when it was all, we were just laughing and crying and having such a good time. And because they're hoping some of these actors were going to play the roles in the film, when at this point they were hoping it was going to be a Chicago thing. So everyone's bringing their A game because it's almost like an audition for some of these folks.
Right.
And it was so fucking good. And it definitely wasn't perfect, but I was very pleased when it was done. And so was the producer. And he said, all right, Dale, go ahead and tweak some of those things that didn't work. I said, absolutely. I did that, threw it back at him, said, go do your producer thing. And then things kind of just go dark for a while.
So how long is a while? We're talking months, a year, a couple of years?
Maybe 6 months to a year, which is fine. Because a lot of times, and this is genuinely what I mostly do as a screenwriter. I get hired to do a thing. I write it. I say, here you go. They say, we're going to make it. And then I never hear from them again. Mm-hmm. And I say, thanks for the money. Godspeed. And so I just kind of forgot about it. And one day he contacts me, says, we're going to do it. It's still going to be a Chicago thing. I got a couple financiers, stuff like that. I said, I'm getting the money. I said, great. We got a director. Awesome. Great. So like once you start signing directors and stuff like that, it's like, oh, this is actually probably going to happen. Awesome. Now, with most projects that I worked on that have been produced, there's a relationship with the director and the writer. That really wasn't the case here. I guess he said, we got a director. I said, I can't wait to hear from him. Can't wait. I'm still waiting.
Okay, so let me back you up.
Still waiting.
You're still waiting. Okay. When you say there's usually a relationship with the writer and the director, and maybe this will be all of the above, but do you mean usually they know each other previously, or do you just mean that once the director's on board, the director's contacting the writer? And
now we have work to do now.
Okay.
Even if it's, hey, writer, I don't understand this. This part's dumb. Can we get rid of that? Get rid of that. And that didn't happen. Because it was around this time when the producer said, oh, I've got these other producers working and I got these financiers. They don't like your contract, Dale. They don't like your contract. And I was like, yeah, that sucks.
Because it's there.
I said, that's unfortunate. And they really just kind of iced me out immediately because of my contract, which wasn't really that. It wasn't like, aha, I tricked you into millions. It's like, no, This is fine. But for whatever reason, they didn't like that. So I don't know if I wasn't contacted by the director because he's a jerk, or if it was probably handed down by the producer. Because I also never talked to one of these producers as well.
Were they upset with money parts of the contract or like creative parts of the contract? Like
no, it was all money.
It wasn't like you had something where like, if I have the final say
wish.
if this okay, so it wasn't something like that. It was just money.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, this is how it is.
Right.
Sorry, it's fine. I should probably be getting paid more. Let's be honest here, guys. And
yeah, you can write a movie. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we saw it. And things go dark. Even the one producer I talk to a lot doesn't really contact me as much. They start casting, things like that. Calls me up. Says, so, director is really getting into that script.
Getting into it? Like digging into it or liking it?
Really just tweaking, tinkering. And I said, yeah, this is the part where that happens. And I didn't give a shit. I'm out. That's fine. This is always an option. This is always a possibility. Thanks for your script. Go fuck yourself, writer. Yep. All right. Have fun. He's really changing things. Blah blah blah. I said, yeah. Also, we fired him because, and this is why the one producer. I'm not going to name any names because there's like a million producers, so it's fine. But he says he was changing it to the point where he was doing that old screenwriter trick of changing just enough of it to where he was now fighting for a screenwriting credit and screenwriting money. And he was doing that old scam. And I was like, I've heard of this so many times. I've never experienced it. It was kind of funny.
Were you sort of like excited to be a part of one of those?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Especially when he was like, we fired him. And I was like, Andy's got fired? Great. Because that sucks. And this guy is a teacher at Columbia College.
That doesn't sound too shocking.
It's like, what is he teaching these kids?
Here's what he's teaching them. I'm here for you until I can make money doing this thing I want to do instead of teaching. That's what he's teaching them.
So at this point, I had lost faith in the project, but then he said, we fired this guy. I've got your back. And I was like, because I don't think the others really did, but this guy was actually very cool about it, and made sure that guy got fucking cut loose. And I said, I appreciate that. So I had a little bit more faith in the project. I said, maybe it's not going to be a total mess. And so we're on the hunt for a new director and all that stuff. I said, okay. Things go dark again for quite a while, and casting happens. I start hearing, we're getting this person, we're getting that person.
Now, is that common for the writer to be made aware of casting choices? As like a courtesy, or mostly?
A lot of times, you almost have a say. They'll send you like, we've whittled it down to these 3 actors. Who do you like? You don't have the final say, but who do you like out of these?
We just
3?
want to know.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So sometimes you're really in there, and sometimes it just happens and you hear about it on the internet, and that's fine too. And he says, yeah, things are really moving along. Got more money. We're getting locations locked up. We're casting people. We've also got a title. We're changing the title. It's a Halloweed. And I just started laughing. I thought he was ribbing me. I thought he was fucking ribbing me. I was like, no, like you can't be fucking serious.
Well, when people search for Halloween and it's never on Netflix,
and their fat fingers go from the N to the D. Well, they now have Halloween.
If you type in HALLOWEE on Netflix and Halloween doesn't exist, Halloweed's gonna pop up for sure. So, it doesn't hurt when you make the font very similar.
Was it?
Kinda orange. Okay. It depends on the picture you look at, but
so new director. So we got a new director, and I would later find out. I was like, what was with that director? Because this is another incident where I never once talked to this person. Never once got an email. Hey, what were you thinking about this? I don't understand this joke or subplot. What the fuck is this? You hack. Like nothing. He's just a music video director, which isn't uncommon.
Right.
But I've heard from people within the production that were just like, yeah, I don't know if he was totally qualified. There was a lot of friends and nepotism, but that shouldn't surprise anybody. So,
well, I mean, to be fair to this industry, Jason Goes to Hell was directed by a guy who never directed anything.
Yeah,
that was
that's a classic,
trick. Well, I'm just saying this. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that. Like, oh yeah, this guy only did a music video before this. Like that doesn't seem too out of the ordinary for like an indie movie for me.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I'm also not in that world, but that doesn't seem too shocking.
So, pre-production's still chugging. We've got Danny Trejo. We've got Ray Weiss. We've got Jason Mewes. We've got a real who's who. We've got Andy Milonakis. He's in it for a scene. Everybody's in it. Tom Sizemore. All the hits. All the greatest.
Yeah.
I said, awesome. Let's keep on doing it. And it's around this time, the script, because that's all I care about, is gone through 2 directors who are tinkering. Multiple producers who are tinkering.
So did
at least one actor who's tinkering.
Oh no!
At least one. And honestly, the ones who didn't are like the bigger names in the movie, probably because they didn't give a fuck. Like this was just their Wednesday, so they're like, "Oh, there is a script. Okay, I'll just read it how it is."
Yeah, because they're pros.
Like fucking like Jim O'Hare, the mayor. Like all of his scenes are mostly kind of what I had. And I'm proud of that because his scenes are great.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Love that guy.
Because now you're saying we're on the second director. We've had 2 directors tinkering with the script. You said an actor trying to tinker with it, maybe successfully tinkered with it. Don't really know, right?
Nah.
Any of the producers tinkering with it?
Yes.
Okay. Did the first director who got shit canned, did those tinkerings remain?
Yes.
That's weird.
I know. It's just it's laziness.
I just had to know that.
I asked
I had to
because
stop
I asked that. They said we got rid of him, and at this point, I knew that he was fucking with the script. So I said, "Oh, he's gone." So like, what date script are we on? Because they're all dated.
Right.
So I was like, "Where are we at?" And it was like, "We're kind of keeping it where it is now, but we're just going to kind of change some things as we move forward." Like they never went back. They always moved forward, trying to adjust as they went. And
that seems just weird.
Yeah,
it seems like too much extra work.
A lot of people do this when they watch a movie. They can easily spot, oh, this was written by 2 people, just because of the tone shift or maybe dialogue. Fucking a baker's dozen, and this motherfucker, I don't even know. So I'm trying to just remain separated. Like you're gonna make a piece of shit. It's already called Halloweed. It's fucked. We're all fucked here. And they was really excited about that title. We're going to market it to teens. This was just sort of a money grab. Not a lot of creativity here, which very much upset me. It's like we're not even coming from a place of trying to make a good movie. We're just going marketing to stoners. And what pissed me off a lot was, okay, you're doing a stoner movie. Fine, you're calling it that because of marijuana. Are we going to get an ad or 2 in High Times? Are we going to work with a dispensary and maybe have a strain of weed called Halloweed around premiere time? Are we going to do any of that? These are ideas that I pitched to them. I was like, here's your shitty idea. I'm going to try to make chicken salad out of it. This isn't even my job. This is a producer's job. But here are a few ideas you might want to fucking do with your stupid idea. And they didn't even do that. If you're going to market it to stoners, market it to stoners.
Yeah, and what do I know, right? Nothing. But the title was misleading me. We'll get into I don't know what we'll get into today, but I'm going to sort of save the watching of the movie part of it for a little bit later. But I just wanted to mention first that the title had me thinking this is like a straight up horror movie, and Halloween was going to be heavily involved, and I kept looking at the person I was watching it with. I'm like, what, did Halloween happen yet? Was that just Halloween when they did that other thing? Is it Halloween now? Why is Halloween even important?
Well, they're wearing costumes at one point, so maybe that was Halloween.
Maybe. And they're telling
But
ghost
sometimes
stories around a
people
campfire.
Maybe that was Halloween.
You never know.
But when they're at the pumpkin patch with all the fake pumpkins, that couldn't be Halloween because you get your fake pumpkins before Halloween. Everybody knows that.
That's correct.
On to the second director. We're casting, getting these names. I'm just waiting for anything because this is with a Big Love Story, the first movie. This is when I did most of everything. Was working together. We cast this guy. He can't really play this role all that great, so we need to cater it more to his personality. We need to do this because we don't have that location, but we do have this location. Can we adapt? And that's super fun, and I love doing it, and you need to do it. And I don't know if they did it, but I wasn't a part of it, and I could have been, and I wanted to be, and it's probably we'll say it's not as good as it could have been because of it. Go ahead,
how much extra would it have cost them to involve you in that?
No, that's just part of it.
Right. So why not at least bounce stuff off of you? It doesn't cost them anything.
And they would come back later on, which boggles my mind to this day. So they're filming, and it just kind of happens. The shoot, this won't surprise you, wasn't that long. He's like, "Hey, we're filming." I said, "Cool." And it felt like 2 weeks later, like, "Hey, we're done filming." I said, "Damn, what a fast business. What a speedy industry. Ray Kroc would love this."
Yeah.
The speedy system. Amazing.
It's too much mustard. You squirted. There's too many squirts of mustard on it.
I'm watching football one night, Sunday night, Packers. I'm plastered. I go on Facebook at halftime. Fucking trailer. One of the cast members or producers or something, the trailer's out. I was like, I can't even get a heads up on the trailer. I'll help share a trailer. And I watched the trailer, and the trailer is okay. I could see things went awry, but I'll still share it. It's got Simon Rex in it. I like Simon Rex. You know? Jim O'Hare, he's great. As much as I love table reads, Jim, you know what I love more?
Premieres,
because I get to dress up. I get to do my Ric Flair style and profile, and there's always a Q&A afterwards. Fucking love it. I get to make the jokes and answer the questions, and I just feel like a fucking movie star. It's great. I wish I was invited.
Pretty common to not invite the person who has written the movie?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
I that was another thing I saw online. They're like, "Hey, Team Halloweed, all this kind of shit. We're doing the premiere in a month, this location at this time." And I contact my guy, the only person left that's fucking talking to me. I say, "Oh, what's the deal?" They're probably not going to fly me out because they hate me, but I might spend my own change just because, you know, it's fun. And I never got anything back, and it just kind of happened.
They didn't even give you like it's way too late for you to make plans. Like, hey, it premieres tomorrow. It premieres in 6 hours. You gonna make it? Oh, sorry, bud. Maybe next time.
Hey, did you just pull up? I think I saw your car. Oh, you're still in Illinois? Oh, maybe next time.
Well, that's also something you sort of alluded to but didn't mention. If you watch the movie, it looks like it's in California.
Yeah.
And you said it started as it's going to be Chicago-based. We're going to shoot it here. They ended up going to California.
Yeah, California money.
How far in? Like, did this happen? A certain producer jumps on board and says, "I got money, but you got to do it out here," or you don't even know because nobody said shit to you.
Well, I know when, but I don't. I know who and when, but the timeline's still messed up. Probably around the time that the first director was probably getting shit canned. It's probably around then.
So was the first director going? That was going to be here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get all that straight because it started as a Chicago thing, and there's palm trees.
It's Michigan. It doesn't look like Michigan to you?
No.
Looks like Michigan to me.
It was supposed to be Michigan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Don't you remember all the 8 Mile jokes?
I remember 8 Mile on the license plate. That's all.
So here's the thing about the premiere that broke my heart. And it wasn't even the fact that I wasn't invited, which did piss me off. He says, "We did the premiere." And I say, "Yeah, I know. Thanks." Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me. You're welcome.
I say, was it at least good? Ooh, it wasn't very good. This is one of the producers saying, "Ooh, it's kind of shitty."
Oh God!
Now here's what they chose to do with the premiere. Not the worst idea, but they invited a lot of distributors and vendors and people who like, hey, watch this movie. If you like it, you buy the rights and you can put it out and sell it and make money. You get a lot of it, we get some of it, and that's how it works. So they invited these distributors and vendors, and he's just like, yeah, a lot of the distributors were walking out during it.
During the opening
During the opening credits.
DDP was there. He saw the MS Paint. He said, I think we're done here, bro.
We're done here, bro. Because at this point, the only thing I have left to cling on is maybe we'll make some money. We're still going to get those dumb stoners. And so the fact that we're not even going to maybe get good distribution, I was like, we're not even going to make money. That sucks.
Yeah.
So hard. So they do the premiere. Wasn't great. It's pretty much the movie that's on Netflix. And we're about to get to just talking about the movie here in a minute, because this is one more last thing I have. They call me up. They say, Dale, Walmart wants to carry the movie. And I say, that is great. I know Walmart. I go to Walmart. So I'll have a movie in Walmart. That's a perfect fucking market for it too. That's great. He says, yeah, but they don't like the name Halloweed. They can't put that in the store with Halloweed. We have to change the title. And I said, this is the best day of my fucking life. He says, yeah, but the one producer, he won't budge. So we need to work on him, and you need to come up with alternate titles. And I was like, what? Me? Fuck you. But I'll do it, because anything but Halloween. So I come up with a list of alternate titles. Happily.
We're talking about probably dozens of movies.
And I start talking to the other producer. Who's fucking married to Halloweed. And I say, it's the stupidest fucking name. This is Walmart. Yeah, but they're only going to carry so many copies. I don't give a fuck. It's Walmart. We've got nothing else. Like Netflix probably wasn't even going to happen. I'm still surprised, to be honest with you. And I was like, just fucking do it. Here are some titles. This is good. This is good. This is good. These are better. No, but I came up with Halloween. It's got to be Halloween. I couldn't believe it.
How do you let your ego get in the way of Walmart?
This was the smallest hurdle. I didn't think this was going to be a problem. But we're married to Halloween.
Dale, this is all pretend, right? This is all pretend. Let's say I'd written a song. Let's say I have an album, and the album's called like "Suck My Fat Dick." People go to the record release party, and they're walking out. Maybe it's like a NARM showcase or something. Nobody's interested. Blah 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 blah. Yada yada. Walmart says we'll carry "Suck My Big Fat Dick" if you just change the album title. In that first response, I'm like, okay, why don't you tell me what it should be? Whatever you pick is fine.
Walmart presents what?
Yeah, it could be Walmart presents. It's always low prices or whatever you guys say. Everything ends in 88 cents for no reason.
Scary rollbacks.
If I already know nobody else is interested, and then Walmart's interested, but there's the one thing, I just go, yeah, okay, change it.
I don't know. I can't. It kills me.
But see, if it's not called "Suck My Big Fat Dick," it just doesn't have the same.
See, because they had artistic integrity, Jim, and you're a fucking sellout.
They had artistic integrity, so they came up with a title to try and trick people into watching their movie.
I can't. That's the title, man.
Do you know how many people I told them what I'm watching? They're like, "Oh, Halloween? No, I'm sorry, Halloweed. It's Halloweed." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
I fought so hard against it early when it was presented. I said, "No, that's bad. Die Trying's great. I always love Die Trying. Let's go with Die Trying." And then the Walmart, which I was like, "You fucking rollback bastards! I love you. You've saved us." And no, that was the hill we were gonna die on.
Holy shit!
Fucking killer.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, that one was rough.
Was it a regional thing? Was it like only the Walmart in this town's going to carry it? Or was it like all the Walmarts will carry it, but only 2 copies at each Walmart?
It was something like the second thing.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like...
What do you think? They're going to carry as many Halloweeds as they are Lord of the Rings? Stupid?
Right. No, of course not. But I think you got a better shot spreading it around the Walmarts.
Yes.
Like, you're at least going to get people to see it, and someone's going to take a picture on Instagram. What is this?
Yeah,
look at this
LOL.
weird. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Something. Oh, jeez Louise. Oh, what? But I don't, again, I'm just a
Very
guy.
frustrating.
Just a guy. I don't know shit about shit.
Yeah, neither do I, apparently. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. It was very frustrating. It started off, and we get to watching the movie. I started watching, I've never seen it until this past weekend. It's finally time. The friend's like, hee, we're going to watch your movie. And I'm like, this ain't fucking funny to me. This ain't a fucking game. It's my life. What the fuck? I'll open a fucking gym. What?
Open a gym? What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, we watch it. And they're like, was this in there? Was that in there? I was like, what? Was bad MS Paint animation in my script? No, I don't think it was. I really don't think it was. But I haven't thought about the movie. I haven't seen it. I haven't read the script. The script was years ago. So I go home that night and I fucking find it on my computer because I don't get rid of that stuff. And I find the last version that I wrote. It took me 10 pages before we finally got to something that was sort of in the movie. And I said, oh, yeah, there we go. That's lining up. And
now, did that stuff end up later in the movie, or was that just not there?
A lot of it was missing. It took me about 10 pages before we got to the execution scene, because the execution scene was in the script. Not how it was done, but there was an execution scene.
So you didn't write awkwardly cover the corners of the lenses with black cheesecloth?
No, you're not supposed to do that in screenwriting, so I didn't do that.
Oh. Let's get into the movie then. We'll get into that.
Let's talk about the movie.
But I also want to keep going back, not to traumatize you, but there's things. There were things that I saw where I'm like, that's very Dale-like.
You've got questions.
Yeah, I've got questions. I want to know. Comments. I want to know what's in there that you liked, that they kept. Just sort of the pacing of the movie seemed really weird, and a lot of it's like, oh, that joke is mine. That would be a lot better if you had the setup that was 4 scenes prior that just didn't make the cut. Yeah,
great.
There's just some weird stuff going on. So the movie opens with...
The movie opens.
We're not really exaggerating. It sort of looks like early Homestar Runner, but worse. Like that same technology, but not the same attention to detail using the technology.
Yeah, because I told you that. I was like, I just watched it. The opening credits are MS Paint, and you're like, "Oh, Dale, you always make the jokes."
Right?
And then
the
next day, you're like, "It's true."
Yeah, yeah. Because like, if there was a diagonal line, you'd see like the aliasing of the line, like the
some pixels.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, oh wow, and I thought after that was over, I thought that was really hard to pay attention to, and because it's so crude, I'm like, who? It didn't really help set anything up.
It didn't need to be there. Like,
right. It didn't make
sense. At some point, one of the producers needs to watch that and go, all right, pay him, but we're not using that. We're going to weed smoke, and we're going to go right into the execution because that wasn't good enough.
To me, it made more sense because I think isn't after the execution, then we get the title, right? Halloweed. Then
we get the title.
So why not just start with that? Netflix won't take it unless it's 4 minutes longer. I don't know.
It's no, that can't be it.
That can't be it
because it's already too long. It's like 140 something. It could have been
right. I mean, there's like hour-long movies.
Yeah. So yeah, we get that. We get the execution because when I was writing it, I said, "What haven't I done yet? I haven't done murder mystery, and I haven't done trauma style schlock. So I want to do that, and but fun." And good, and it got mutated so bad along the way, like the execution with like the party hats and the popcorn.
Yep.
Some of that is in mine, but it's like, no, you didn't. No, You you've gone so wrong. But a lot of like
picture
the
like Gordon Ramsay on set if you were there. This fucking hat is raw, and just peeling it off someone's head.
I also would think about the editor, because there were like small amounts where I'm like, this is actually in my script, but why does it feel wrong? Oh, it's because of the editing. And I don't know if it's because they weren't given enough to work with. I mean, I just don't want to throw the editor under the bus.
Yeah.
But it was just a mess.
It's sort of hard to throw anyone under the bus, because if I didn't know you and I just watched this, I don't know that it's been rewritten by 4 people. Right?
It seems like a bad movie.
I would have thrown the writer under the bus. I would have thrown everyone under the bus. Except like there were some good performances in it. The things I liked,
And the unemployment lady, because she was banging.
Yeah.
I liked her.
She was only there for a second.
Lupe.
I liked the cops.
The cops were sort of in my script. It was too... I don't remember, but they were introduced differently. They weren't in a fucking diner. There was like, I think the name of the diner was the Exposition Diner.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I was like, that's not how I introduced them at all. But here we go, and it's those fucking differences that when you already have, a schlocky movie, now you're just 6 feet deeper.
Okay, when I watch a movie on Netflix, I usually have a pretty good idea what's going on when I start watching it. Even if it's something weird, like, what was that movie? Kung Fury. Like, when you read the little description and you see the artwork, you kind of know what you're in for. But even, I know you personally, and you've written this movie, and I see the cover, and I see who's in it, and I know what it's called, and I'm like, is this a horror movie? What's about to happen? It seems like it's going to be a murder mystery, but I don't know. Why would they call it Halloweed?
Well, the murder mystery doesn't even kick in until like the last half an hour.
Nobody gets killed other than the guy who's executed for an hour.
And it's such a piss poor job of, and I promise you, it's not like that in the script, where we introduce like the town history and the candy corn killer. Who is it? Because it's a genuine whodunit. It's a comedic whodunit. Is it the son of the serial killer who's supposed to be a spitting image of the father? Not really a spitting image, but they didn't give a fuck about casting. Is it him because he's supposed to have these outbursts? Did he have outbursts in this movie? I didn't see an outburst. So there's really no, is it him? Not at all. Is it the brother or the best friend, which in this is his stepbrother? Because let's change that for no reason, even though that does change things, you fucking idiots. Is it the girlfriend? Is it like I gave them the pieces. They took out the pieces.
It was hard for me to follow. And you would think like an hour and a half long stoner movie, like comedy murder mystery, can't be hard to follow, right? But it was pretty hard for me to follow because I'm like, wait a minute. Right out of the gate. Okay, this serial killer, his son is like the main character. And, I wonder if this guy's like his dad. I wonder if he's probably struggling with, am I going to start murdering people someday? And Simon Rex was the friend, and I would remember, oh, wait, yeah, that's his stepbrother. And I don't know why. It just makes it hard. It's just one extra thing for me to try and remember while I'm watching the movie. But I'm waiting right away for him to sort of have some weird bloodlust that he can't control, like almost like a American Werewolf type thing where he's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy, but he is, and he can't control. And that never really came up. There was like weird scenes where he looked like, I don't know, they weren't outbursts, they were like inbursts. And then nothing would happen.
They're aside bursts.
Yeah.
Quick aside bursts. Yeah, like everyone's supposed to have these red herring moments, and it's just that they're just not there. And I honestly forgot about the murder mystery aspect to like the first death, which is literally like 40 minutes before the movie ends. Yeah, and I was like, oh God, guys, what have you done? And it's frustrating because you could have pulled that and shifted that in the timeline, your editing timeline, fucking Premiere Pro. Take that scene, drag that motherfucker over to the left a little bit.
Sort of the blood and gore and the killing, the masked kill. I liked. Okay, now the costume. Whose idea was that? Because I liked that.
I can. You know what? Let me fire it up.
It was sort of different.
I'm gonna search baby. Baby, nah, it's not in here. So that was them.
Okay. I'm gonna search baby.
You're gonna search baby.
It was weird. It was creepy. How did you have it? Like just general, like masked killer.
Let's see. Mask. I'm searching mask.
Just write it right now.
No, I don't think it's. I think I might just have masked. I think I just have masked in this.
Just like a masked killer, or maybe.
And they were like, "Good, he gave us a blank canvas to work with."
Or like a friend of the Christies, just like you see someone getting approached. Oh, it's you. There's a scene like that in there.
It's like we'll let the costume designer people do that, earn their money, come up with something cool.
The big fat baby was creepy, but
big fat baby.
Okay, so I'm about 40 minutes into the movie, and I'm looking over at my buddy, and we're like, "Is this a horror movie or not?" Like, nobody's like in danger. There's nobody dying. There was like a little tiny mention of something about a candy corn killer, and that was it. And then they're just selling pot, and
that's my favorite part when Jason Mewes and Simon Rex just like, let's just do our own movie.
No, before that, he's goes to Danny Trejo. I'm gonna start selling pot for you, and we're like, people die in this, right? Like, this is a horror movie or some kind of like murder mystery. So when you're making a movie like the murder mystery thing, and it's sort of a whodunit. To me, it only works if the audience can't really tell who it is. Like, to me, you have to have like some sort of honesty, where if the audience goes back and thinks about it, they're like, oh yeah, that could have been that person, because there was that few moments where they weren't on screen. But there was like somebody gets killed and then they show like two characters right away. I'm like, well, it can't be them.
You got to have kayfabe.
So why would you do? Yeah, come on. You're destroying the business, brother.
Ask them. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Before we started this podcast, Dale said this is going to be like my Bret Hart wrestling with shadows. But I think it's almost more like making a murderer in terms of tone.
It's just, man. I love murder mysteries. I love Scream. I love Club Dread. Like Club Dread, and I've only thought about it recently since I watched the movie. But that movie is comedic as hell. But when people got, like there was a tone shift, and it all worked. It all gelled together. This
you never saw it coming.
Never saw it coming. It just didn't work. And whether it was the soundtrack and score that was out of place, or the editing, or the directing, or the act, there's a fucking million people you can blame, and I'll be one of them. I don't give a shit. Fucking Christ. It just didn't work, did it?
Like, would you have been mad if they changed a bunch of stuff and it was way better than what you had written?
Yeah, but they didn't. They kept a lot of it, and they twisted its head around till it did a fucking Exorcist 360, and now, like I said, a mutated version.
So Jason Mewes, his character, who I'm sure has a name, and Simon Rex, and then the kid, they're selling pot for a while. How much of the pot dealership aspect was in your screenplay?
I put just enough in it. He's like, and I had put some weed stuff in there because the marketing. This was before Halloweed was even a title.
Right.
And I was like, well, the best friend just got himself a subplot, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was just enough to appease the powers that be. You addressed it, marijuana. But then obviously it took on a life of its fucking own.
What about the creepy landlord? I liked him.
He was always in there, but he was more of a Mr. Rogers type instead of a like dirty hillbilly
with
guy.
Short shorts.
With short shorts, although those short shorts were pretty banging.
I liked that guy though.
He was good. I like him. But like even that, like that's what kills me. Everything's there. So when people are like, "Did you write that scene?" and I'm just like,
sort of.
Sort of. Sort of.
Okay, so spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it. That landlord guy ends up being the candy corn killer.
Yeah.
Right, sort of.
And they show at one point the baby mask comes off. He's like, it's you.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of show this back in profile angle, and I'm like, well, it's clearly a man with a gray type of beard. Like you've eliminated any female options at that point. Who really gives a shit? But right. I thought that was an interesting decision, a choice that was made.
Now, in your version, is he the candy corn killer?
He is.
Or did we not find out?
That's those beats do remain the same, where it looks like it's the mayor because he's killing people, but he's not the candy corn killer. He's doing it to mimic it and drive up business. Oh, our town's so haunted.
Right.
And then at the end we find out the candy corn killer is still here, and it's that guy who's now the mayor. Haha.
Because that was neat. I liked that twist. The scene at the end was... Now I feel like I'm nitpicking. I mean, there's so much stuff that was sort of out of place, but they leave the... I don't remember her name. They leave the... What? They
Madison.
Leave her, Madison. They leave her in the office with the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gone for a second. And this whole time, they think the mayor's son is the killer. They talk to the mayor's son, and then there's like a toothpick angle. Like, well, no, my dad, I just do it because my dad did it. Something like that. It's a toothpick. Then it takes him like what feels like 15 minutes to get back to the office they were just at.
Yeah.
There's like a huge fight scene
and a fight scene where they're throwing pillows at each other.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, let's do it, motherfucker.
She's like, is that a pillow?
I would think at that point, that scene would be sort of serious and threatening and intense. Like, she's in here with the killer. Now we know she's in here with the killer. Maybe they build it up a little more.
Yeah, change the music, change the lighting, change the acting style, change the direction. Stop with the fucking jokes. We've had enough jokes. He's gay. Do you get it? I think Jason Mewes might be gay, or Simon Rex might be a homosexual.
Right.
I fucking get it.
He wasn't gay.
Tell a story. Nowhere near as much as what has occurred in this film.
How many anal searches were in yours?
That one is in there. I searched it, and I was like, yep, even the pop.
Yeah.
So I'm guilty of that.
I like that.
Damn it, Johnson, there's not going to be drug paraphernalia in his ass. And she pulls out the mat.
I mean, we were sitting there like, that's Dale right there.
Guilty. So.
And he just, I love that she pulls this thing out of this like one hitter out of his ass. And then he just takes it back from her with like his bare hand and puts it in his pocket. And I was like, oh my God, that's disgusting. And the iCarly, that had to be in there.
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun writing the pedophile character.
Yeah, that guy seemed that seemed to have Dale written all over it.
Yeah,
that character.
Well, I named him Lloyd, and when I'm writing it, I'm thinking of Lloyd Kaufman, the president of Trauma. I'm just like, this was in my mind. This was a Trauma wacky comedy, and if I would have gotten one phone call with the director, I would have said, "Think Trauma, please go that route, not this thing you're doing." And you might have been on the right track, but they went on the left track, the right track, then they went on the L, then they went underground.
No one saw them coming.
And no one saw them. Yeah. I liked Danny Trejo though.
Of a bottle.
It's my empty bottle. I'm like, I wish it wasn't empty.
Danny Trejo was good.
I liked him. One Day Danny. That's what I like to call him.
I mean, did he need more?
No, but you could tell.
Was he the first name attached to it that you remember, like cast-wise?
I think so. Because I popped for that. I was like, damn. And then they got Ray Weiss, and I was like, that motherfucker was in Twin Peaks.
Yeah. And I was over there like, that motherfucker was in RoboCop.
And then they're like, Tom Sizemore. And I was like, Ray Weiss was in Twin Peaks.
Tom Sizemore. I kept looking over at my friend and I'm like, during that whole scene where he's just like talking those lines in the beginning, I'm like, this motherfucker was in Saving Private Ryan. He was in a Steven Spielberg movie that should have won Best Picture. Wasn't he nominated for like supporting actor or something? He goes from that, and now he's just like reading these words in an electric chair in Halloweed. The stars do fall, don't they?
Yeah, we sure do.
I would just look at him and say, Saving Private Ryan.
Well, he wasn't in it that long. He couldn't have been saying it that much.
He was in it for no, right. Okay, he wasn't in Halloweed that long, right?
Yeah.
No, I would just turn he wouldn't be in it anymore. I would just turn to him and say that. The guy in the beginning was in Saving Private Ryan. Jason Mewes was in it.
Jason Mewes was in it.
Was his were those other characters in it? The Weed Buddies?
The Weed Buddy was not in it. Andy, he wasn't in it. But Jason Mewes' character was.
Okay.
And it all tied together. It all came in, because that's what you do with subplots. They all tie up with the main plot near the end, and then you have a nice, pretty finale that blooms like a beautiful rose. And that's just not what happened here. I don't even think that subplot got wrapped up. They're like, we're selling weed. Was there a comeuppance or a success to that?
No.
Nothing happened.
It didn't even make sense. It made a little sense at first when he goes to buy some. And he's like, well, why don't you sell it for me? Or whatever. But then he's got he's got employees, and I didn't know how that happened. And then I just couldn't figure out why that was in there, because it didn't seem to go anywhere after that. Other than that guy was like a big pothead.
It does in the script. It goes places. They go on their little thing, and then they make that left turn right towards the main plot, and we take it home, brother. But no. And suddenly we're doing a Halloween party with 3 extras. I would have been an extra, you fucks. Invite me.
The music during the campfire story scene, like, I get what you're going for. I've seen that in movies before. Someone's telling a story and we don't hear the dialogue, and it's sort of a montage. But those were going on way too long. And then the music, it just sounded like Kevin MacLeod. No disrespect to Kevin MacLeod. No disrespect.
I wish we had Cam.
But it just didn't even... I'm like, is this... I'm like, it sounds like a James Bond movie now. Like, where's James Bond coming in?
There were a lot of comments about the music. Mostly, not even like, this is bad. It was just like, this doesn't fit.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it was like, this sounds amateurish or anything. Like, it just sounded out of place. Like, this sounds like it's from a different movie.
It's like even the composer was like, what's the tone of this?
Money.
Like like the editor who's probably got a library to pull from. And he's just like, what am I working with here? Is this, I don't know.
Oh boy. So
terrible.
The sequel.
Terrible film.
What's the sequel called again? You told me the other night.
It's Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Got it.
So I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, we hit everything. It was a terrible experience.
Did you write the part
you get those
with the shopping cart on the sidewalk? And they have to pull them over because there's a shopping cart on the sidewalk, but they say it's in the middle of the road.
I've got a McCarthy in here, so I'm getting a lot of cart and Carthy. No, there's no cart.
Okay. It was just a weird scene.
There's
Cops stop. They're like, well, we gotta look. He's pushing a cart on the side of the road. We can't have that. And he's just on the sidewalk with a shopping cart at night. It was just like a reason for them to get out, and then they come and get him out of the squad car.
There are a lot of problems with this movie. Obviously, we talked about a lot of them. If I could fix one, besides let's do the murder mystery correct, it would be establishing the protagonist as like this like struggling and tortured, will I, won't I, what's going on here, making my own choices. And we just don't get that. This fucking character is all over the place. Well, even when he meets the lady Madison, he sees her nice ass, and he's like, I'm gonna pretend to be next to her looking for a pumpkin, and I'm gonna butt my butt next to her butt and go, oops, our butts touched. Like, that's not what a face does.
Yeah, the scenes with him and her in the beginning were really creepy.
Yes.
Like I thought he was going to rape her. And I'm like, wait, I thought his dad was a murderer. Shouldn't I be worried that he might murder her? I was waiting for the scene where he wakes up and there's a bloody woman next to him and he doesn't know if he did it or not, and that type of stuff. And there, I didn't see any of that.
The script in front of me is 120 pages, maybe 60 of it, in some form, loose framework are in the movie, and it's unfortunate. But hey, that's the business.
You predicted. I said, hey, did you look at IMDb? Did you see the rating? And you said, no, what is it, 2.7? I said, no, it's 3.4.
And if they would have let me work on it during pre-production, we could have got that to a 4.8. Damn them.
Could have.
That was Halloweed. What are we going to talk about next week? We threw up a poll. Did we not?
We did. We threw up a poll. I shared the poll. It was sort of neck and neck. But as of right now, Last Action Hero won.
Yes. Last Action Hero. What would we do in those positions? And it's just so, I just can't wait to watch that again.
I know. And maybe, like, to me, I mean, we'll get into it. This movie came out at the perfect time, had the perfect soundtrack for what the movie is sort of making commentary on. And I think it's one of these movies where if you look at the bigger picture of it, it was a little smarter than people give it credit for.
Ahead of its time.
Maybe.
So next week, Last Action Hero. Any plugs this week, Jim, for you?
No, I finished some. Well, I thought I finished some vocals on a song. I'm gonna have to go back and just figure out my life with that one. So that's kind of rough, but I'm gonna do that later. So I'm just moving on. Just gonna knock the rest of them out. Then I'm gonna come back to this one.
That's what you do.
Just
you keep moving forward.
Keep going forward.
You never go backwards and fix what you fucked up. You always just take that shit and move it forward and maneuver it along the way.
Even if
hope to God it works.
Even if somebody came in and started co-writing this song with me, and I said, "How dare you co-write this song with me? You're fired. I'm keeping everything you'd written." Even if that happens,
I'm too lazy to go back and what?
Too lazy to say, hey, can you send me back what it was a second ago?
Oh, we'd have to talk to that guy I hate. Nah, fuck it.
Did you look at him? He's just got this look on his face, and I don't want to deal with him.
This was episode 48, Halloweed. Thanks for listening. I'm the Candy Corn Killer.
And I'm a butt search. I can't do it.
You sure can't.